It's a very exciting day down here at Western Sydney International Airport, Sydney's newest airport, which is currently under construction, because today, for the very first time and after years of construction and planning, they're going to be landing an aeroplane on the brand new runway behind me for the very first time. Western Sydney International Airport, also to be known as Nancy Bird Walton Airport, is Sydney's newest airport and is located in the rapidly growing western suburbs of Sydney. Major earthworks for the project began in March 2020, and when it's complete, unlike Sydney's current international airport, Sydney Kingsford Smith, this multi-billion-dollar project won't be subject to any curfews, with departures and arrivals 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I'm back here at Western Sydney International Airport today to share with you not only that milestone moment of the first aircraft touching down here on the runway, but, well, actually, hang on. Before I go on, I know it's not technically the first aircraft to land here. I think it was 4 years ago. There was a Piper PA-28, which was above the airspace here and had some engine issues and actually performed a forced landing on the runway strip down here. No one was injured. Everything worked out really well. Great piloting all round, don't get me wrong. But no, that is not the official first landing of an aircraft here. The runway wasn't even built. I also want to give you a look inside the new terminal building, which if I just pan you around, you can see the terminal. It's the other side of the runway over here in the distance. So I want to give you a look inside that because it's changed a lot since I was here last time. I want to talk to you about one massive thing that I think is missing from Western Sydney International Airport, and at the end of the video as well I want to quickly discuss something that I hope this airport will put in place for aviation lovers like you and me, and if they do, it will give them a really big point of difference compared to some of the other airports here in Australia. So now we're taking a look around the new terminal building, but it's changed so much, Sam. It's changed so much. First of all, you've got a roof, which makes a nice big difference. But what's the plan from here? Because it's starting to look like an airport, Sam.
The list of things would be, we will be here all day if I list them out. But I think the main thing is the fact that we've had that topping out done, so the roof is on. We can accelerate all of that internal work, pretty quickly. You're not weather dependent anymore because the place is like watertight. So it means we can do all our fixtures, all the tech can go in, all that kind of stuff too. So for example, you mentioned that the bag drop machines, they're all going in. This place will be full of kiosks as well. Floor to ceiling, heaps of natural light coming in. All the fixtures are kind of meant to reflect the environment that the airport's in. So, lots of kind of natural wooden colours. And it's meant to create an environment that's really stress-free. Travel can be stressful at the best of times. So what we want to do is take away that stress, make it really easy for people to come in and feel comfortable when they're travelling.
So once you've dropped your bags off downstairs at the bag drop using the kiosks and everything, your bags have gone on their way. This is where we go through to the actual departure gates themselves.
You've got your international, you've got your domestic. The one we're standing right in front of here has the ability to swing between two, right? So depending on operational needs, you might have a huge influx of international passengers coming through, are going to come. Then this one can operate in both kind of formats, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same with our gates as well. So we'll have international, dedicated international gates, dedicated domestic gates, but some will have the ability to swing between the two based on operational needs. How good, Steph, we are the first to sit,
First people to sit on the new lounge seat.
Exactly right. How's it feel?
It feels good. It's something I've always wanted to tick off my aviation bucket list, be the first person to sit where millions of other people will sit in the future.
No hospital waiting room seats. This is all, designed to be really comfortable and put you at ease.
And you can see the planes from here.
You can see the planes.
Sam, just repeat what you said to me, that I'm the first civilian to walk down this airbridge. Is that official?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, backing that up with absolutely no kind of data or stats behind it at all. But hey, let's say it that you're the first civilian to walk down this brand new airbridge.
So now we're upstairs. We've walked upstairs. We're all out of breath as well, so we need to first of all exercise more. But where are we now, Sam?
So this is the international arrivals area. So you'll come off your plane. You'll go up a set of escalators or stairs. Obviously, you have your facilities on the right-hand side, but the cool part is we actually have pet relief facilities here too. So for companion animals, guide dogs, what have you. Nice little place for them to rest there.
Oh, yeah.
Rest their weary legs.
Yeah, and so they've come off the plane, do whatever you need to do, freshen up, and then we're going to walk to...
That's it. So we'll go through to, processing and ABF and all that kind of gear, so...
Nice.
Yes.
The aircraft is just circling around at the moment before they do their landing. I think, in fact, they're going to do a low pass first, and then they're going to come in and do a landing. The aircraft is it's a small twin engine. It's a Piper PA-30, a Piper Comanche aircraft. They're not testing with big jets at the moment. It's actually Air Services Australia who are performing this test. Now you may be thinking, well, surely if a Piper Comanche could do this test, then surely a small SR-22 based out of Moorabbin could also have done this test. That is true, and I don't want to labour that point. Anyway, he's doing some circling at the moment. We're probably going to see a low pass, and then I think we're going to see a landing, but I need to change lenses because they're actually landing on the opposite end of the runway all the way down the other side. And I think he's coming in now. So what's the one big thing that's missing from this airport then? Well, take a look behind me. As you've seen, we've obviously got the runway behind me where the aircraft landed just a second ago. You can see all the way down to the terminal building there in the distance. And if you look on the horizon behind me, do you know what's missing? What you see at all other airports, but you don't see at this one? There's no control tower. And that's because Western Sydney International is actually going to become Australia's first airport to have a purpose-built digital air traffic control service. This means that instead of the traditional control towers you see at other airports, Western Sydney International, together with Air Services Australia, are going to be installing an array of cameras which will monitor the airport and which air traffic controllers will use to control aircraft from a centralised control room. Now, it's the first here in Australia to go digital, but it's not the first in the world. In fact, digital air traffic control services already exist in places like the United Kingdom, Sweden, Germany, there's some in Argentina, Brazil, Hungary, I think Norway have got some as well. And now Air Services Australia have decided that Western Sydney International is going to be the first airport here in Australia to go fully digital. So there won't be a control tower. Mixed feelings about that. I mean, control towers are such an important part of the aesthetic, I think, of an airport. But, you know, moving Australia through the future of aviation, I think is a good thing as well. So, you know, pros and cons. Congratulations, Sam. Plane finally touched down on the runway. That's great news.
Thank you. I'd like to take all the credit. Yeah, I worked really hard on it.
Well, it's a big deal for the airport. I mean, it's like it's acting as a proper airport now. But so that's one small test plane. What's the plan in terms of, you know, planes with passengers? When will the airport open?
For sure. So 2026, late 2026, we're going to open. So basically, in terms of what happens from here, the terminal, the runway, even landside, which you see over our shoulder there, all of that is still under construction. That'll get handed over to us in 2025. And from there, we just test. Like, we test so hard just to make sure everything works, break everything, make sure we know how to fix it when it does break, with the ultimate aim to be ready by 2026 to welcome our first customers. So while it might look really complete and ready to go, so much work needs to go into it.
One thing that I think Western Sydney International could do really well with, to give it a real point of difference as well, not just for travellers, but for aviation lovers, the people who like to watch the planes themselves, is this visitor centre that's set up at the moment. When the airport opens, is there any chance of keeping this area open for the public to be able to watch aircraft movement? Yeah,
for sure. Look, it's something that we're looking into. That decision hasn't been made yet. But look, personally, from an AvGeek perspective, I think this is a perfect place for a spotting area. You can see the approaches on both ends. You're elevated. I mean, it's a really good spot. But in terms of the official line, look, no decision's been made, and we don't know what's going to happen. But, you know, personally, I'd love to see that. Yeah, but we'll see how we go.
Hopefully not too long until I'm actually flying aircraft again. And Sam, of course, every time I see him, I hassle him about Echo Yankee Zulu being the first, or not the first now, but being one of the first aircraft to land. Is that promise still there? That gentleman's agreement?
Steph, you know there is nothing more than I would like to see than you landing here in Echo Yankee Zulu. Yep. I'm working on it, I promise. I'm doing my best, as much as a social media guy can do, which isn't much. But I can at least ask the question, Steph. And, you know, an upstanding gentleman such as yourself fits the bill for a first Cirrus landing.
That sounds like an official agreement to me. So Western Sydney International, thank you very much. I look forward to landing here.
Thank you. You are my favourite YouTuber. Do you
Thanks,
hear that?
Sam.
Favourite.
Thank
Number
you,
one.
Sam.
Except myself.